This is the village of Crookhaven, in the county of Cork, Ireland. It's a fishing and farming community, and at one time was very much more prosperous than it is today. Crookhaven, like many other villages in Ireland, has fallen on hard times. The population now stands at a mere 69, which includes those who live in nearby farms. Emigration is taking the young people away from villages like this, and those who remain are either old or middle-aged. It's because of this threatened extinction that we decided to make a film of life in an Irish village. An ordinary place, with nothing special about it, except, of course, that it's dying.
When I came to this village 30 years ago, it had a population of 150. Now that has dwindled to 70, and is typical of many villages in rural Ireland. The old die, the young leave. Those of us who remain are sad at the prospect. There are few modern amenities in the village, and the likelihood of getting such luxuries as running water, drainage, or electricity becomes more and more remote. Fishing is the main source of income, and in a good season the men can make enough to see them through the winter. We are fortunate that our harbour has no watershed, which makes it one of the finest storage places in Ireland for crayfish. And as long as fishermen fish crayfish and catch them, there will always be a living for someone in Crookhaven. I myself act as agent for the fishermen, but most of my time is taken up with the farm. I take the milk to the creamery. This is a mobile separating unit which stands outside the village for the benefit of all the farmers roundabouts. The milk is poured into the separator on one side, and on the other we withdraw whatever we require for our own use. The creamery is of benefit to the farmer inasmuch as it sort of cuts out the middleman. It buys the produce straight from the farmer and sells him anything he requires for his farm or his home, straight from the creamery, with no merchant or middleman getting a cut out of the deal. The creamery has had a marked effect on village life. It has become the established meeting place for the farmers. They don't come into the village much anymore, except to church on Sunday or to the occasional wedding or wake. By the time we are leaving the creamery, the fishing boats are well on their way. I buy lobsters for a French company, and anything caught today will be picked up by a French boat within a fortnight. It's a happy arrangement, and those Frenchmen are sort of welcome. They supply pots to the fishermen, and in some cases they don't take any money for them. When you take your animal to the fair, you first want to find out what he's worth. You meet a buyer. He comes up and says, "What do you want for the old cow? What do you want for the heifer?" He generally says the little heifer in order to try and weaken you. So you start talking. You say, "I'm asking 45. And he says, "45 for what? Where's the other one?" You say, "I want 45 for that one." Then he says, "You must be mad," and offers you 35. After a while he says, sort of confidentially, "What would you sell it for, actually?" And he offers you 40. Then you weaken a bit and you ask 44. He offers you 42. Then after a while some other fellow comes up and says, "Well, what's between ye?" "Oh," says I, "I'm asking 44 and he's offering 42. Divide it." So you make it 43, and it's generally a deal at that. There used to be many more young faces to be seen on fair days, but you see, there's nothing to keep them here. A young girl doesn't want to hang about here. She'd rather be off to England earning money, having a gay time. Is refusing to go with the times, and his son feels less inclined to work for him. If the old fellow makes, say, £200 at the fair, he thinks he'll put it in the bank. But if his son, who's been working for the past year to produce that £200, asks his father for a fiver, the old man will think he's mad. He'll say, "I never got more than a shilling from my father. Here's 10 bob, and I think you're doing well." The farmer's refusing to go with the times. This is the village school. There are so few pupils now that it may have to be closed. After school, my two youngest often go down to the shore to pick winkles. They can earn a few bob this way, for the Frenchmen will buy the winkles along with the lobsters. these rural parts, but it's a slow and expensive business. Some men go over to England for a few weeks to earn sufficient money for the hire of a tractor. Life for the women can be very dull, especially in the winter. There's nowhere to go, nothing much to do. Generally blows a gale or pours with rain, and it's dark before 4 o'clock. They just wait for the summer. Recently, the Bishop of Cork has been calling attention to the situation in rural Ireland. He's telling a lot of facts about the emigration problem, some of which are very distasteful to hear. But apparently, he's getting nowhere. He's just a voice crying in the wilderness.
Mr. Lowley, she gave a big party and invited us all to attend. So we gathered a gang, went down to her house, a few pleasant hours to spend. There was Duffy and Kelly and Flynn and myself, a jollier crowd hard to find. But the thing most important we almost forgot, we mere left the piper behind. We invited him down to the party, he brought a bagpipe speech and we asked him to sing, he says, no, I'll play is a bit of a dance. So he picked up his pipes and began for to play, till someone got fallen about. They cut a big hole in the bag of his pipes, and this was the tune that came out. Row, lily dam, ride the doodle-lam, ride-lam the day, row, diddle-doodle-lam, skidry idle dam, row, diddle-doodle-lam, ride-a-doodle-dee-dee. When the piper found out that his bags were cut, he made a lap out on the floor. His kiddo got walking the trip-hammer style, he landed him under the jaw. Mr. Lowley into the hall made a rush, trying to get out to the door. But the piper had 9 of them tied in the count, and swore he could lick 20 more. We invited him down to the party, he brought a bagpipe speech, and we asked him to sing, and he says, no, I'll play is a bit of a dance. So he picked up his pipes and began for to play, till someone got fooling about. They cut a big hole in the back of his pipe, and this was the tune that came out. Row, lily dam, ride-am the doodle-lam, ride-lam the day, row, diddle-doodle-lam, skidry idle dam, row, diddle-doodle-lam,
To an old fogey like me, this party is great fun. But I suppose it's not much compared with the dance halls, picture palaces and all that, which the young people can get in the cities. They can't think much of it anyway because they're leaving. And although there may be enough work for the haves, there's nothing left for the have-nots. There's no alternative but to emigrate or go on the dole. In this parish, there are more old-age pensioners than there are children going to school. In a population of 1,500 at the moment, you may have 5. Deaths exceed births like 3 to 1. The old are dying, the youth are going away. This parish is doomed to extinction. It just can't go on.
Here, in the ruins of houses, once occupied by people who also danced and sang on Sunday evening, the only music heard now is that of the new occupants, the birds. The old are dying, the youth are going away. Those of us who remain are sad. But to us, the village can never die, and our lasting impression must be of a warm, generous community who will live forever, at least in our hearts.